Bonjour and welcome to the Ecosystem Screencast for lessons 1 through 3. Again, I'm Jose Rosa, Science Specialist at the Mason Pilot Elementary School in Roxbury. During this screencast, I will go over the first 3 lessons of the FOSS Ecosystems Kit, lessons 1, 2, and 3. Lesson 1 is the pre-unit assessment, thinking about ecosystems. Lesson 2, setting up the terrarium. And Lesson 3, setting up the aquarium. Now remember, you will need aquatic plants for lesson number 3. Let's start lesson 1. During this lesson, students work on a KWL activity where they write and discuss what they know about and what they want to find out about how living things depend on each other. In addition, students view a picture of a riverbank environment and discuss the living and non-living things in the picture. This is a good time to introduce the terms biotic, or something that is living, was living, or is or was part of something living, and abiotic, which is something that was never living, will never be living, and so on. You can also extend this lesson by having students list living and non-living things found in the schoolyard and in the outdoor classroom if your school happens to have one of those. During lesson 2, students begin setting up the terraria. Each group will need one 2-liter bottle for each terrarium. Instructions for preparing the bottles are found on pages 14 to 26 of the teacher guide. Here's an important note. The terrarium is built on the top section of the bottle. The bottle is inverted. Students should follow the directions on pages 20 and 21. Directions are also found in the student investigation book, which also comes with the kit. As students build the terraria, have them record all the elements that go into the eco column. Students will be dividing the soil into 4 sections, and they will plant one type of seed in 3 of the sections. They will plant alfalfa, rye or grass, and mustard. The last section will get debris, like rocks, leaf litter, twigs, and so on. Here's another important tip. Each group needs to add dropperfuls of water until the water drips through the bottle. They should remove the caps when adding water and place the cap back when they're done. They should also record how many dropperfuls of water were added before the water dripped through. Now, there are duplication masters in the teacher guide, but I find it easier to use notebooks. You have the option of photocopying the duplication masters at 50% or maybe 66%, and having students glue them into their notebooks. This one, for example, this riverbank environment picture, I photocopied it at 66%, and students just placed it in the notebooks, and they were able to create data tables next to them on the subsequent pages in their notebooks. Now, here's some tips about setting up the terraria. Before adding soil to the terraria, make sure to moisten it, but do not make it muddy. Tell students to place the inverted bottles inside a cup so the bottle doesn't tip over, just like this picture. Of course, you will have some students who forget, so be prepared for a few accidents. Get Pepsi or Coca-Cola racks like this one from local bodegas or convenience stores. They've always been great with me about giving them to me for free. You can easily store the eco columns on them. For lesson 3, students will follow similar steps to build their aquaria. This time, however, they'll use the bottom part of 2-liter bottles. They begin by adding 1 cup of gravel. Make sure to rinse the gravel a few times beforehand to remove any dust. They then add conditioned water to the aquaria. They should fill the bottle until it's about 3 or 4 centimeters from the top. Lastly, they add the plants and algae. Remember, they should be recording the elements that they're adding to the equal column in either the duplication masters or in their notebooks. Again, also, students should begin making regular observations and recording changes to the equal columns in their notebooks. One way to keep track of the observations is to create a data table, or you can print them or have students copy them and write them in the notebooks. This is an example of one of the data tables that I have used with my students. There is also a reading selection that goes with lesson 3 on page 31. Duckweed, elodea, and algae. Why are they important? Please excuse that phone ringing. It's what happens when you record live. Well, that's it for this screencast. Until next time, I will go over lessons 4 through 7. Until then, au revoir. I'll see you next time.